Hey Ben, let me guess. Calling that girl again? You got it bad for her? You sure that's not the reason you're in here? You'd be better off with the needle kid.
Vital was a 30-year-old Russian from Brighton Beach who lived with his mother and was addicted to dope. Vital had been mandated to the ward. For what reason, no one could be sure. No one could ever be sure why anyone was in the ward. There were two things that everyone in the ward knew no matter how they came to it. Number one, the white walls and carefully draped mosaic tiles evoked no feelings in anyone. And number two, that no one could ever trust the reason anyone said they were in the madhouse. When Ben looked at Vital, all he saw were fears. The fear of death, the fear of life, the fear of dope or no dope, love or no love, hanging over Vital. Vital was sleeping with an obese 20-year-old hepatitic dope addict named Michelle. She had a hell of a voice and would talk about winning the latest American song singing reality show. Vital would talk about what a fat, clingy piece of garbage Michelle was the minute she left the room. Even though Vital spent every minute with Michelle that she was out of her bedroom. The methadone hit Michelle harder than it hit Vital. Unfortunately for Vital, Michelle spent a good amount of time knocked out on her purple rubber mattress.
I love her. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Oi, that's the truth, boy chick.
Ben picked up the receiver. He could see specks of dandruff or lice on the black plastic grill around the microphone of the mouthpiece. The area with the phone smelled like wet paint and cleaning fluid. Schizophrenics walked by in a daze, their world evacuated by a thorazine needle with an Ativan chaser. They didn't even notice Ben or Vital. Dialing the number, Ben put the receiver to his ear, forgetting about the insects or bits of dead human flesh on it.
Hello?
Ben felt stones in his pockets dragging him down, and his stomach revolved twice. Adjusting to the weight and the movement, Ben fixed his gravity.
Hey, sweetheart. Oh!
He was nervous for her to pick up. Being in this place made him nervous.
How was your day, honey?
I've been here 3 days, and no one has given me any idea how long I'll be here. I almost got into a fight with a transsexual that's taller than me because they tried to steal my position in the snack line. Plus, one of the orderlies keeps on talking to me about Jesus and the upcoming Armageddon.
Did you end up getting your snack?
Yeah, they backed down when I said I was willing to stay in here for the rest of my life to get my goddamn snack before them, and that they were gonna have to kill me if they wanted to keep my place.
What did they say?
Nothing. Okay, so I was talking to one of the nurses, Dan, and Dan was telling me about when he worked in a state facility. He said there was a process they all went through when he worked there called the hardening of the arteries. The hardening of the arteries was the term Dan, and the nurses he worked with used to describe becoming accustomed to all the fucked up shit they saw. He told me that there was a patient there, a man with a sub-70 IQ. This man thought that he was a dog, and he would get physically aggressive if he was treated like a man. He had a leash that he insisted be put around his neck before he would go for walks.
So what happened?
The fluorescent lights hung like swamp gas, swallowing Ben up. He realized that he was no longer speaking, and that he was in the most secure and locked section of a psychiatric ward. Ben looked behind into the dining room. Past Vitala, he could see the large barred and bolted windows of a red brick residential apartment complex.
So one day Dan goes to his room to take him for a walk, puts his leash on, the usual. But something's wrong. The kid is barking, screaming, jumping around on all fours.
What do you mean?
It's a tenuous agreement at best. When man meets beast, usually one kneels. Anyway, so the kid is trying to show Dan who the real animal is, hardened arteries or not, and Dan is trying to treat this kid like a human being. So Dan forces the leash down around the kid's neck, and the kid isn't having it. He doesn't want to go for a walk that day, but Dan is making a stand. Suddenly, in one moment, the process was complete. The kid reached out with all his teeth and clamped down on Dan's ankle, wriggling his mouth around like an epileptic.
Vital was mouthing to Ben the words, "I'm gonna eat." Ben just nodded.
Is that story true?
Of course it is. I wouldn't be telling it to you otherwise.
Benny, I need you back here. You need to get your shit together and say whatever you need to say to get the hell out of there, okay?
It's okay, my love. I'll be on the outside soon. After all, I'm a sane man.
Ben held back laughter.
I know. It's all right, sweetheart. I'm gonna be out sooner than a week, guaranteed 100%.
When Vital looked over, Ben made the internationally recognized sign of a penis being masturbated and ejaculating in order to indicate how seriously he took Jenny.
I love you too, sweetheart. It's all gonna work out. I wouldn't tell you it was if it wasn't.
Ben hung up the phone. It was hard for him to be in there, mandated to the psychiatric ward, without Lucy too. Ben walked into the cafeteria. The attendant from the kitchen was standing behind the metal serving cabinet that kept all the plates warm. She said with an accent and a smile. Ben took his food and went to sit down with Vital. Vital was eating with Andrew and Edward. Andrew was a 19-year-old schizophrenic Czechoslovakian from Staten Island. Andrew had slashed his face with a razor blade because the voices in his head had demanded that he do so. Andrew said that the lithium in the Haldol mostly killed the voices. Edward was an 18-year-old Dominican from the Bronx. Edward's mother had been letting him live at her place in order to get extra money added to her check. And when her boyfriend told her to kick the kid out, she told Edward to leave. Whatever had happened after Edward had landed him in the ward.
Ben, you son of a bitch, you talking to that bitch again?
I got big stacks from selling them wax packs. I make fat stacks flipping wax packs. My 44 go blat blat.
Shut the fuck up, Staten Island. You're making yourself look foolish. Yeah, this asshole is still in love with the maniac.
She isn't a maniac.
All I need to know is that she's with you. Maniac. Pure and simple. You're more insane than all the voices added up in Staten Island's head.
People walked behind Vital as he spoke to unload their trays.
Ben, why are you acting like you don't know what kind of woman she is? She's a trick son. Ain't no soul in there. Why you trying to fool yourself? You ain't stupid? Why you gonna let yourself get played?
Look, I know what kind of woman she is. I know her since I'm 17 years old. I want to believe she is someone she isn't because I love her. And I know she's not getting better over time. She's not a fine wine. She's a bottle of champagne, and I should have drank her before she went bad.
Ben responded with a sour tone.
He is right, doggy. You gonna let some hoe run you down? You being dumb. She a hoe.
Shut the fuck up, Staten Island, last time, or you can go sit with the catatonics.
I'm not stupid. You're both right. Look, this is gonna end soon. We both need this right now. Bro, you don't know her like I know her. She's a whore and a bad person. What do you want from me? I still love her.
Ben responded as trays clanked down. The woman from the kitchen was waiting for them to finish their food so she could take their trays back to be cleaned. She was a semi-attractive female in a place where most of the female workers were nurse ratch types. As Ben, Vital, Andrew, and Edward sat eating, they turned their heads completely without any kind of subtlety to check her out.
Try not to smash the cafeteria lady.
I can't make any promises.
If you're gonna stop anyone in here, go to my girl's room and stop her. That way I can have a pleasant night's sleep without any post-traumatic flashbacks.
Don't drag me into your nightmare, brother. I'm just trying to get seconds.
Ben and Vital left. It was just about time for evening meds.